Hey, yo, say hello to the bad guy, Scott Hall. In Your Head Online Radio.
All right, we're back. Welcome to In Your Head Wrestling Radio. I am Jack, along with my right-hand man.
The Power Goat, 1-inch biceps.
Oh, man. And the man all the way from the UK.
I'm still loving the Power Goat. I am the voice of the beautiful people and the cult of personality, Romeo Joyce, the Lionheart, Bobby Richards. Potato Man.
Oh, man. And right off the bat, we've got a huge guest here with us. We've got none other than Kevin Nash. Welcome to In Your Head.
What's up, man? The British guy sound like that dude from The Ultimate Fighting a couple of seasons ago.
I think he is.
That him?
Yeah. Things didn't go so well in the UFC, so we took him here.
Right. I'm already punch drunk, so I'll fit in.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. So how you doing tonight?
I'm good. It's a little windy here at the beach, but it's nice.
Yeah. How you doing health-wise?
I'm actually probably as healthy as I've been in, 10 years, knock wood.
Excellent.
I feel great.
Yeah.
My body, my weight's down. It's one thing that's good with the schedule I've been on the last couple of years. I've been able to take care of myself. So, yeah, doing good. Good.
How many more years left, active in the ring, do you see yourself have left within you?
It depends on how much how many times I actually wrestle. I mean, if it was, it was under a WWE contract, I'm sure that if I worked 144 dates, I'd pretty much be at the end of my run, probably by the end of a year. But, if I wrestled 30, 40 times a year, get time to get work done and everything else in between, I could probably stretch it out 2-3 years.
Is that a big part of your decision when you decide to re-sign with TNA? Is the schedule?
Yeah, well, we're close to getting everything done, but we're still not.
It's still not official?
No, it's still not official. I mean, I've heard reports that, the merchandise, we're pretty far apart, so I guess because they're playing hardball, they pulled me off. Somebody told me the other day they pulled me off their webpage, so.
Yeah.
I understand that's true.
Yeah, we were hoping it wasn't because you were coming on here.
No, they did pull me off the webpage, so I guess I was supposed to, call somebody and complain of what's going on or lose sleep, but
right.
I'm more worried about our financial infrastructure crumbling than be working in professional wrestling right now.
Right, you're having your picture.
I got a lot more to lose in Wall Street than I do with TNA. So.
Well, that has something to do with how many more years you have left.
Yeah, I might have 15 years left if McCain gets in office. I might have to dig myself and the majority of my friends out of a hole here financially. So,
right. We got a lot of people calling in tonight. Just so you know, I'm going to limit everyone to one question. First up is we got Jason here on the line.
Hey, what's up, Big Sexy?
Hey, Jason.
Oh, I thought he was talking to me.
I don't really have a question. I just want to say, it's an honor to even talk to you, and I just want to say I'm a big fan, probably since you were Diesel and you were HBK's bodyguard, so I just want to give you a big shout-out and say thanks for all the good matches.
Thanks, man. That's very kind.
Thanks for calling in, Jason.
Yep, bye.
Let's get Brian here.
Oh, hi. Is this Kevin Nash?
Yeah, what's up, Brian?
Hey, I was just wondering, when you played ball at Tennessee, were you there at the same time that Reggie White was going to school there? Or
Yeah, Reggie was there then.
Bruce Pearl wasn't the coach, though, was he?
What's that?
Who was the coach of the basketball team?
Well, I got recruited by Ray Mears, and Coach Mears unfortunately had a nervous breakdown right before their opening game. So Coach Cliff Wedding was the coach my freshman year. He was our associate coach, and then my sophomore and junior year, they brought in Don DeBow, who was a Bobby Knight disciple.
Okay, well, just to let you know, you're my second favorite volunteer, right behind Peyton Manning. So take that as a compliment.
I'll take that.
All right. Well, thanks for taking my call.
What's going on, man? Were you impressed when Reggie White went to wrestling?
He was a sweetheart of a guy. God rest his soul, but he was a good dude.
Mm-hmm. Big Raw. Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
No, he's just a good dude.
Yeah. Big Raj.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, you got a
what's
question?
up, Nash? Hey, Nash, I got actually 2 questions for you.
Make it one good one.
Make it one good one.
Right.
Damn it, Jack. All right. My question, Nash, is with the whole Scott Hall thing when he, walked out on the TNA pay-per-view.
He didn't walk out. He didn't walk out. He never left his house.
Sorry, my bad. That he didn't show up. And Samoa Joe cut that promo on, the old-time guys. I know Hall is your boy and all, but what were your true feelings on that since you kind of went on the limb and got him a second chance with TNA?
I mean, Scott's, he's one of my best friends. He's like a brother to me. And, I knew that, hold on a second, hold on. Hey, T, I'm doing a call-in. Can you drop the guitar for a little bit or shut your door? Thanks, Doug. Sorry, man. I got a rock star in the making. He's got to get his guitar. They're playing some Folsom County blues. I think little Johnny Cash at 12 years old. But he, it was, to me, I was just more worried about him because I know if he didn't show up, he was in a bad place. So there's nobody that loves to perform or be out there more than Scott. So I was more concerned about Scott that night than anything else. And
do you still keep in contact with Scott? Like recently?
Whenever he picks up his phone.
Right.
He's one of those guys you call him and you get the voicemail. Your reach is currently absolutely full. You're like, hey, please, dude. But Scott, he's been dealing with some stuff lately, so he knows I love him.
Yeah, we met him recently at the Fan Fest in Charlotte. It was pretty cool meeting him.
How was he? Was he coherent? Was he good?
Yeah, he was good. I actually asked him to come on the show, and he just looked at me and said, "It can't hurt." And he walked away.
All right, Nash, I'll let these other people get in to talk to you. I've been a fan for a real long time, all the way back in the Diesel days in WWE. I appreciate you coming on the show and taking the time to do something special for us fans, man.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks for calling.
All right, thanks.
Speaking of Diesel, that actually ruined WrestleMania 11 for me because I was there live, and there was this little girl sitting behind me, and the whole night she screamed at the top of her lungs, "Big Daddy Cool."
That was my wife.
Really? I think she was 12 at the time, but
13.
Well, you'll be in West Virginia soon. I believe it's legal there.
No.
Hey,
what?
14.
Oh, I'm kidding, Ginger. Sorry. You got a question, Barb?
Yeah, one of our fans, No One Special, wants to know, between Sean and Scott, which one did you like working with the most?
God, it's such a different style. I'd have to say that, because Sean was, Scott's probably the best big worker I've ever worked against as far as like anybody above 6'3" or 4. But Sean's by far the best worker I've ever worked with. So Sean could make anybody look good. So it was always just, it was easy to work with Sean because he could create so much movement and, he could really take, your flaws and make them actually a plus for you. So Sean, by far, was, if I could work every night with Shawn Michaels, I could probably work another 20 years in the business.
I know we got a big fan of Shawn Michaels here on the line. Is Jai. Do you have a question? Jai? If not, we got Dwayne here on the line.
Hey, hi, Kevin Nash.
Hey, Dwayne.
I do love Shawn Michaels, and I love the days when you and Shawn were together. Do you ever see that happening again in the WWE?
Well, there were some talks. I actually talked to Mr. McMahon and to Johnny Ace, and we were considering going down that path, but it just it didn't end up happening, and it wasn't anything that they did. It was more, my wife just wanting me. We live in Florida, and Universal Studios is real close to home for us. It's like 70 miles from my house. So for my wife, it was just, she just, after 20 years of doing this, she'd much rather have me, close to home than on the road 12 days a month. So, and she's put up with enough crap where she definitely gets a vote at this time. So,
where would you,
Sean?
What's that?
You talk to Sean still?
Yes, we talked maybe 4 or 5 days ago.
Where would you like to see like your final run? Would you like to have a final run in WWE, or would you like to finish up in TNA?
I'd like to powerbomb McCain.
Really? That would be interesting.
Have a match with McCain. He'll have something to do after this presidential thing. So.
Yeah. Any chance we could see Nash going into politics?
God, I don't know. I got so much dirt. I seen this poor Palin lady, man. They dug her shit up in an hour and a half. It would take them about 3 minutes to get me. They'd show one of those clips that Mad Mountain Rock filmed on the bus in Europe, and I'd be dead.
A former guest of ours. I tried to get a bootleg copy of that from him, but didn't hook me up.
I think most of mine is just my voice. I don't think you actually see me participate in anything. I think it's just I'm doing a narrative of the entire event. So.
Oh man,
Barb's excited about that one. Incher, you have a question from the board?
Yeah, actually, AFK, he wants to know, you obviously put a lot of work into WCW. He wants to know, how did you feel when the plug was pulled?
You know, I'm sure it's no different than if you were on, Home Improvement or one of those kind of shows, or Everybody Loves Raymond. I mean, it was a great show. It was a success. All good things come to an end. It came to an end, and I'm proud of what we accomplished there. I mean, we were the #1 wrestling franchise in the country for a couple of years. It was good. I mean, and I look at it and say that if it wasn't for the tech market crumble, we'd still be around. But that's what happens when you're owned by a publicly traded company that's a conglomerate. And AOL stock dropped about 70% in the course of about 4 months, and they started selling assets, and we were one of them.
Dwayne, did you have a question?
Yeah. Hi, Mr. Nash. How are you?
What's up, man?
I just want to know why you were not on the last Nitro.
Why wasn't on the last Nitro?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had my option to do it, but once the company switched hands, I had a personal service contract with actually the Turner organization. So once the company changed hands, I didn't have to participate because he was no longer in charge. So if you had a choice of getting paid and watching the show on TV or being on it, what would you do?
I would not go. Thank you very much.
In Eric Bischoff's book, he says that he thought DX was like a copy of the NWO. Did you agree with that?
No, it was different. I mean, there's only, Eric would be the first one to say there's really only 5 real angles in wrestling. Guy wants girl, guy gets girl, guy hates guy, factions. I mean, there's only so many ways. It's just a different way to do it. They were a faction of guys. I mean, it'd be like saying that the NWO was a rip-off of the Horsemen.
Right.
Or that we were a rip-off of the Freebirds. I mean, it's different eras, different... I think that we were very ultra-violent, and I don't think that the DX was ultra-violent. I thought they were kind of more comical, and I thought, there was a different, there was a difference to them.
Yeah.
They were younger, they were hipper. But we were pretty hip for our time,
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you keep up with like WWE 24/7, but they have this show on there, Legends of the Wrestling. It's like a round table. And the most recent one, it was about factions, and Ric Flair picked the NWO as the worst faction in the history of wrestling. What would your response be to that?
Well, number one, I'd like to get a breathalyzer on him while he was saying it. Isn't he the guy that walked away from like a lifetime $500,000 job to go do personal appearances?
Right.
Okay, I'll go ahead and rest my case on that one. His next good decision in his life will be his first.
let everybody know you're actually going to be wrestling for Extreme Wrestling Entertainment October 9th, and they just moved it to Kingwood, West Virginia. Have you been to West Virginia?
Yes, I have. Yes, I love West Virginia.
Excellent. We'll have all the information right from the website. Apparently, they have to change the poster, so we don't have all the new details right now. Did you have another question? What was that? Did you have another question from the board incher?
Oh, I actually had a question. I just wanted to know, Wade Boggs in the recent Mr. Perfect DVD, he actually took credit for that, the Wolfpack symbol. I was wondering what your response to that.
Well, somebody else asked me this question not too long ago. I think I was on Sirius Radio, and I told him, unless he's part of the Turkish mafia that sells hashish in Amsterdam, where we actually stole the sign from, which I doubt he is, I think I'm gonna have to say that he's. We were in a coffee shop in Amsterdam, and these guys walked around and they kept giving that Wolfpack sign. So X-Pac asked the dude, he said, "What's that mean?" He says, "That's Turkish mafia dudes. They do a lot of the drug importing here, a lot of the hashish." And I swear I didn't see Wade Boggs that day in the coffee shop. He might have been in there, but I didn't see him. So I'm going to have to say, bullshit.
Take that, Wade Boggs.
Yeah.
You got another question, Barbman?
Yeah, one of our fans, Casper, wants to know, what are your thoughts on working with Alex Shelley and whether TNA could have taken the Paparazzi Productions gimmick further?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's just certain guys you have a natural chemistry with. I mean, like when you just sit and you go back and forth and you just throw stuff back and forth. And he was, and the thing is, you know, people always say, "Do you think that you could have went further with the Alex Shelley thing?" I always say to myself, well, he's not dead and I'm not dead. So as long as one of those two intangibles are still there, that he's alive and I'm alive, I mean, we can always take it further. Hopefully, we can take it further. You know, I mean, he's very, very young. I see him as, I mean, right now I think the Motor City Machine Guns are great together, but I look at him as a breakout star somewhere down the line, and you know, I'd love to be, you know, his manager or something like that, just to have somebody to feed off of. So.
Who came up with all the different vignettes you guys were doing? Did you guys think up all that stuff yourself?
We made up about 90% of it and half of it was just on the cuff. You know, but they just kind of. But Dutch Mantell helped us a lot. Dutch had some overseeing, and Jeremy Borash, he shot it, and he's got a really whacked sense of humor, and we would just sit there and throw ideas back and forth, and we'd shoot it when TV was over. 11 o'clock at night, we'd start shooting that stuff. So, you know, we'd get tired and giddy, and occasionally I'd have a cocktail. So,
whose idea was the chart? That was probably my favorite part.
I think that was actually Jeff's. Jeff came up with the chart.
All right.
Jeff Jarrett.
We get a couple other calls here. We got Kicks on the line.
How you doing, Kevin?
What's up, man?
I just wanted to say that you're one of my favorite, one of my favorite wrestlers to watch and such. So, I'm kind of nervous talking to you. So, my first question, or if possible, just wanted to ask, Kurt Angle recently had an interview with The Sun, UK magazine, I think, or newspaper, and he talked about how TNA is just really too gimmicky and that they're not considered more wrestling, but I guess, there's a lot of way too many gimmick matches. I mean, would you agree with Kurt?
No, it's kind of one of those deals there's this push to make it mixed martial arts. I read occasionally I'll get on the internet and I'll read some of the dirt sheets, and they'll say that, the closer, I watch mixed martial arts. If it's not the main guys, there's only after about 3.5 minutes to watch some guy mount some guy in half guard, I start to feel like I'm watching some kind of cheesy gay porno. So to me, it's it's the thing that makes pro wrestling so unique is we have the ability to control tempo. and we have the ability to tell storylines. You know, I think that it's great to have clean finishes.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
Oh, no. It was, some caller was on the line. It sounded like he was getting a little too excited hearing your voice. We hung up on him.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Somebody hand him a wet washcloth. But I just think that when you can control, you can control the tempo and everything else. Like, I mean, like I look at Klitschko in heavyweight boxing, and I say to myself, yeah, he's a great boxer, but do I really want to watch some guy for 10 rounds throw jabs and outpoint a guy? You know, I don't know. I mean, Kurt's more of a technical guy, and Kurt comes from that shoot background, so his mentality is going to be completely different. Where, you know, and I think he made reference to like a tar and feather thing, like that was from the '60s or something like that, and there's some other things he said. I mean, I understand his point, but at the same time, it's like everybody has an idea of how to run this until they give you a piece of a blank paper and a pencil and say, give me 2 hours of a television show. And when they do that to the person and they write down, like, and they time it out, and it has to be timed out with commercial breaks and everything else, then that person can give me, they have an opinion. Until then, like, yeah, everybody can. I can watch the WWE on Monday night. I can TiVo it, watch it the next day, and pick it apart. Completely pick the show apart, as you can anything that's. But you know, when it's live like that, number one, you've got the guy that wrote it is telling an agent what he wants in a production meeting. That agent goes and tells the guys that are doing the match what he wants. The referee then is told. So you got like 7 intangibles. Each one of them can differentiate or misunderstand or mistaken what they're supposed to do. So then you've got basically what you have is you've just got the actual execution of the angle. So the execution can be wrong. If the execution's wrong, it doesn't matter the best angle on earth. So it's hard, and I know there's nobody in this planet that works harder than Kurt, and I understand his frustration, but I don't think that, like I say, you know, do we make mistakes as a company? Yes. Will we always make mistakes as a company? Yes. But I don't think that it's done with malice. As long as it's not done with malice, as long as guys aren't sitting in a room going, let's do this will really make this guy look like an ass. Our guys aren't doing that. They're doing the best they can. Is it perfect? No. But like Scott Hall would always say, the last perfect person on this planet they nailed to a cross. So that's about it on that.
Who's that? Kicks? Thanks for calling in, man.
Thank you, Jack.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin.
All right, man.
We got Joel from Portugal.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you doing, Kevin? Oh, okay, just two quick questions.
One
question. Oh, let me see. Ric Flair on one show recently on the WWE 24/7 channel, he said that the NWO. Yeah,
we've done that.
Okay, I'm sorry. So the second question
is, you can ask it again.
I can ask it again.
Yeah, we might get a different answer. No.
Yeah.
I'll give you a different answer. Ask it again. I'm going to give you a completely different answer.
No.
He said that the NWO was the worst faction ever.
No.
Right? Is that your question?
He said it was a ripoff from an angle that happened in Japan, and I want to know your opinion about this.
Okay, and did anybody ask Rick what the angle was, or did somebody?
Yeah, I know.
Rick?
I know what the angle is, and it's somewhat different from what he thinks it is. It is inspired in the angle that happened in Japan, but it's completely different because it was 2 companies, not one company and one stable, as it happened in WCW. So,
right. My question is, how many people in the United States saw
that? 2, I guess. The people that imported the tapes.
It's like Grudge. Grudge is a Japanese horror film. Nobody saw it. Everybody saw the United States version.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I say, have another kamikaze. Take your penis out of your pants. Do a dance around the room, and have your 7th wife.
I don't know. And firstly, you said it was the NWO was a ripoff of the Horsemen. Now he's saying, oh, it's just a ripoff from something that happened in Japan. So, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do? I mean, these guys get old. They get that dementia starts to set in. They don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Oh, man.
Thanks for calling in, Joel.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Kevin.
Didn't you have another question?
All right, well, Nash likes it, so you get the...
He's from Portugal, man. He gets two.
Yeah.
He gets two.
Right.
And I think Kevin was once in Portugal, did a show, but nonetheless, I've seen some of your late matches that you've been having in TNA, and I noticed that you sometimes have you seem to have some trouble with walking with your legs. Is it something that affects you in your daily life when you get off bed? Do you really, since the morning, you start getting, pain or is it something that you can...
I tell you what, it's one of those deals where before you take that early morning dump, you really have to warm up the knees.
I see.
So it's kind of downhill from there. No, I mean, I'm beat up at the same time, though. It's just, you have to realize the ramp that we have in that impact zone is like triple the incline that a ramp should be, like the one at, we're in this tiny little arena and we've got two ramps, and the WWF I'll always call it WWF. The WWE is in this giant arena and they only have one entrance. Why do we have two entrances in such a small building? So the ramps, I mean, they should have those signs like on the inclines on the side of the roads, like in Tennessee and in West Virginia, like 40-degree incline signs on that ramp. That ramp is so, it's not a good thing. I mean, I think they should just let me come in from the side. When I come in from the side, I don't seem like I have a hard time moving around. Just when I come down that ramp, I look like I'm crippled because. Number one, I don't want to fall and bust my ass on it. And number two, it's like I said, it's like a 40-degree incline. So no, I mean I get around pretty good. My wife's like, I actually thinking about going on Dancing with the Stars next year.
Excellent.
But they told me I'm not old enough, and they're going to get Flair to replace Cloris Leachman.
Oh man.
Is there any particular dance moves that Nash is an expert at?
Well, I mean, I do a whole kind of, I don't know if you guys remember the Forbidden Dance. I do a little bit of the Forbidden Dance, and I actually do a kind of a blend salsa Russian mamba thing I've been working on. I do it in 7-inch heels, so it's kind of crazy.
Oh, man.
So it's like a Cossack dance with a swivel?
Kind of, but without the vodka.
Well, I'm a master of the truffle shuffle from the Goonies.
Nothing wrong with that.
Thanks for calling in, Joel.
Oh, thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Joel. Well, bye.
Area code.
Yeah, he was
very polite.
Area code 914. I don't know.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris from New York.
What's up, Chris?
What's up, man? Hey, I got a quick question. I was like, what was it like working with Randy Savage in WCW, and do you still keep in contact with him?
Not as much as I used to, but he was a great guy. I always had a good time with him, and he always had, he was a legend. I mean, I watched him when I was growing up, so I always dug Randy. I always had a lot of respect for him. When you got out in the ring with him, he always worked his butt off. He was a consummate professional, and I always will consider Randy a friend of mine.
Something I always want to know is, was Bob Backlund mad that he dropped the title to you so quickly after winning it, and like in such
I think he was. I think he was disappointed because I don't think it was laid out that way to him. I think that he always had a degree of animosity for me because. I was that new generation. He was kind of like that transition guy. Nobody wants to be the transition guy, but Bob was a consummate professional, and that's why we made everything Bob Backlund rules when we had our X Division thing.
Yeah, he is the man.
He is the man.
Mm-hmm.
Bob's a good dude.
Yeah, I have his autograph, and I didn't have to say all the presidents in reverse order either.
Yeah. So, which is good. But
exactly.
And another, like, what is that? Another 45 days we'll be able to start with Obama and go backwards. Oh, do I keep plugging my boy or what?
Thanks for calling in, Chris.
All right,
thanks Chris.
Yeah, we got a call here all the way from Canada. We better get to him. He's been on hold for a while.
Not as far as Portugal.
No, but yeah, he's been on hold longer.
Oh, he's been on hold. I'm sorry. I like Canada. I was just up in Toronto. What we got?
Do you have your name, Mr. Canada?
This is me. It's Chef Peter from Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Sweet. That's beautiful. That's well cut there.
What's going on, Big Kev?
What's up, man?
Listen, if you're ever in Halifax, drinks are on me.
I haven't been in a while, but I love it up there, especially in the summertime. God, it's gorgeous.
I know, man. I know. We're just getting into trout fishing season right now. It's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah.
All right, here's the question.
A little piece of God's country up there.
You're right. Mr. Nash, first of all, thanks very much for all your years of service. You are a great ring general. And I have a couple of questions I want to ask you. Number one is, how do you feel about your career where it is right now? What makes you happy about your career where it is right now? Second thing is that I will feed you a good dinner. I will buy you a decent libation, but you got to give me a good road story.
Good road story.
Yeah, man.
One that, I mean, can I change the names to protect the guilty?
Change the names to protect the innocent?
No, the guilty.
You can make it about one's biceps.
Anyway, listen, I'm going to hang up and listen. Kevin, thank you so much for all your years of service, man. You know, I don't mark out for very many, but I got to say, you're top of the drawer, man. Top drawer.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for calling in, Peter.
Cheers, man.
That kind of makes me happy because the top of the drawer of my house is the sex toys. Makes me feel kind of good.
Yeah. Well, it might be slang for his. He might call big sexy.
What the hell?
Huh.
See, his first question was where I think about my career. You know what? At 49 years old, and I mean, I was an athlete for my entire life. I was basically done before I got into wrestling as far as just injury-wise. My knees were pretty shot. So to get 20 years on top of that and still be able to do it and still, more than anything, be able to go and sit in the locker room and laugh with some friends and get paid. I'm ecstatic where my career's at. And I don't have any road stories. I mean, because road stories kind of have to happen. You have to be in the mood to tell a road story.
Right.
So it's like, kind of, I don't.
Any chance of ever seeing the Kevin Nash autobiography yet?
No, I've got a son, and I mean, I would want my son to realize that Bob was a pirate. I'm going to raise that kid, and he'd be like, yeah, but Dad, in Chapter 3, I understand that, son, but that.
Alex here, do you have a question?
Yeah, first of all, it's an honor to be able to talk with you. I'm a huge fan. Basically, I want to know, what was it like working with Harley Race?
Harley? I didn't get it. I mean, he just managed us. But actually, Harley still, when he managed us, would take that sweet, he used to take that suplex from the apron in.
Oh, yeah.
And Harley still, I don't even know how old Harley was when he managed me and the Big Cat. But Harley still took that thing. He took that thing so sweet. You watch old tapes of him, and you just realize he was really kind of, he did that up and over bump that Flair, later took. That was Harley's, bump, that take the turnbuckle up and over, go down the apron. That was Harley's, that was Harley's bump that he kind of created and made that. And sorry, Rick.
The diamond. Harley was just a great worker and a super. I still get a chance to see him now and then. It's just really generally just a good human being. But I'll tell you one thing: one guy, I don't care how old Harley is, he'll still knock the shit out of you if you cross him. I mean, Harley's still 100% man, and there's just, and if you don't know him, then don't test him.
because Harley Race is a man. There's just no doubt about it. I got ultimate respect for him. He taught me a lot. I will tell a quick Harley Race story. We were leaving the old Capitol Armory, Washington Armory in Washington, D.C., and we were trying to get back to Baltimore, and Harley was going about 100 miles an hour down the middle of downtown Washington, D.C., and the cops pulled him over. Harley got out and cut a promo on the cop. How fucked up the road system was. And, the cop, told him, gee, Mr. Race, blah, 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 blah. He told him, Harley Race is a 7-time real world champion, the whole bit. And so finally the guy is going to, he said, follow us. Well, the guy's going 40 down the 35, and Harley decides that that's not fast enough. He passes the cop once we're going the right way. I'm like, Harley, you can't pass the cop going 60 and a 35. I think the cop was just like, oh, forget it, man. Harley was a character.
Anything else, Alex?
Yeah, just one more question, if that's okay. When you first met Triple H, and I don't know when I think he joined the WWF in '95, did you kind of see the potential he had to go on and become like a multi-time world champion, or?
Yeah, we used to watch. They used to have the Saturday afternoon show. Back then in the WWF, we were on the road all the time. So we'd get up and get our workout in, and we would catch that afternoon show they had. I think it came out at 6. So we'd usually catch that, and he was terrorizing at that point. So he was like our favorite underneath WCW guy. So I think he broke in at Worcester, Mass. I think was his first TV that he came on. I think he had a dark match. And Walter Kowalski brought him there, and we watched him. We sat at the monitor and watched him, and he was just, he was really fluid and really. He sold well. And then when we found out he didn't drink or take drugs, we were like, "You're with us." We were looking for that designated driver. Right. We found him. Hunter, you're with us, dog.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot for answering my question, Mr. Nash. I look forward to seeing you on TV again soon. See you. Bye.
Thanks, man. I hope we can get this contract worked out.
Yeah.
Me too.
Speaking of being on TV and stuff, what do you think about the whole angle with you and Samoa Joe?
Oh, I've become good friends with Joe. I respect him. I think he works hard. I just, I think it's been good. I think there needs to be a payoff,
right?
Of some sort or another. Either we decide that hold hands and fight the good fight together, or decide to not fight the fight together. But at this point right now, we need to move a decibel over a couple pieces so I can get my merchandise where I want it, and then we can go forward. But as it is right now, it's getting to be in that part of the year where the temperature stays in 85, 90 down here, but the humidity leaves, and it's perfect jet ski and boating season, so I'm not complaining.
Right. Are you surprised that Black Machismo took off so big and still around?
No, because what his whole thing was, anybody that watched him, and I actually watched him. I was on an indie show with him. I don't think I worked. I think I just signed autographs and did a promo. But I watched him work that night. It was somewhere up in maybe Connecticut or someplace. He worked for one of the indie guys up there. I forget what the guy's name is, and I feel bad because the guy really ran a first-rate operation up there. But I watched Jay work up there, and it was just you just see it. There's those certain guys that just have that fluidness that got it, and it transpires from move to move, the transitions. You see guys that you see a lot of high spot guys, but they don't throw the good punch in between. They don't, their work is choppy, and his work was very smooth. So I knew that the guy he had the tools. And then when you sat down with him and had a conversation with him, he was incredibly personable. Somebody that you liked. When he walked away from you, you had that inner smile. And and when he started doing that, I said, "Would you do that on TV just as a rib?" And he said, "Yeah." And we brought it, to the creative's attention, and they kind of went with it. And he kind of goes in and out of it more now. But I just think it differentiated him and gave him something to kind of to put him in the spotlight so he could be looked at in a little different light.
Yeah.
And at that point now, I mean, once the spotlight was on him, then his talent spoke for itself, and he could pretty much do what he wanted to. But the minute, I mean, it's just one of those things. There's certain guys, the minute you see them, I'm sure that the first time that Ricky Steamboat got in the ring and somebody watched the way he moved, they knew this kid's something special.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I look at those early AWA things that they were playing for a while on ESPN of Shawn Michaels, and you see his early stuff. Like he's far. He was so far advanced for that era of guys work-wise. So.
Mm-hmm.
The good ones have it. I mean, you look at early Oz tapes. I mean, you can just see that that's a diamond in the rough.
Exactly. I think Incher was going to ask about Oz.
Yeah. Casper from our...
He's like a giant Lou Thez. It's crazy.
Casper from our message board, he wants to know who came up with the Oz gimmick.
That would be Dusty Rhodes and I think a handful of mushrooms.
I think what always topped it off was the monkey on the wizard's shoulder.
That was Kevin Sullivan.
Yes.
That was classic. I'm surprised we didn't have some animal rights people handcuff us when that match was over.
Now, I believe there is like a Diesel classic figure out. Is there any chance of like an Oz or a Vinny Vegas classic action figure released?
I think the Oz one would be the most classic.
That would be good stuff.
I think I like the Master Blaster Steel. I think he was around for like a week and a half before my tag team partner decided he didn't want to be a wrestler anymore.
I thought he became the dog.
No, that was Al Green wasn't the first. The first guy that was my partner in the Master Blasters was a guy named Corey Pendarvis, who Ox Baker trained in Iowa. You know what kills me is that people always say, like, I'll read like these bios on me, and they'll say he started as woman's bodyguard. It's like, that was Big Sky. That wasn't me. That was Taylor Mayne. Like, that wasn't me. Like, God, like, get it. Somebody please get it right. Like, that wasn't me. He was found by Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes wasn't even in WCW when I came into WCW. Ole Anderson came down and found me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like all these lies. These people trying to claim that they found me. It's just bogus. It's just absolute bogus. So,
what are your thoughts of like the internet, like websites that report news and the dirt sheets?
It's like every piece of media. You sit at your hometown and you watch an incident happen in front of you. Somebody gets gunned down, whatever it is, and you sit there and you eyewitness it, and then that night you watch it on the news and it's completely contrived. There's a different story told than you saw, and the next day in the Orlando newspaper there's another story told, and you realize it's like that old experiment they used to do in second grade when you tell a kid and he tells a kid and it goes all the way around the room, and then the last kid writes on the chalkboard what the story is, and it's nothing what was originally told, and that's basically what happens. There's so much hearsay, and because number one, none of the boys are supposed to talk to the dirt sheets, so they always do the old you didn't hear this from me. Where can I hear it from, then? You're the one saying it. But, I mean, it's just one of those deals where it is what it is. I mean, I guess you get enough of the truth, but sometimes, I kind of like it that it's so bogus. Like for years, like they had me, he really was born in 1957. I'm thinking, really? Because my birth certificate says 59. It just, well, I guess you'd know better than I would.
I have to ask this because there's a guy been in the chat room for the last hour. He's asked it about 50 times at least. He just wants to know what your thoughts on Jeff Jarrett as a boss. He's from Germany. Emos.
Jeff Jarrett's from Germany? I didn't know that.
Really?
He speaks incredible English. He actually has like a twang to it.
Yeah.
Must be from Bavaria, southern Germany.
The blonde hair and the blue eyes are kind of a...
Yeah, you're right. Very Aryan. I'd never even thought of that.
That's the reverse. Usually they take a southern guy and make him into a Nazi in wrestling.
Right. This way here they took an actual Aryan.
Right.
They took somebody from Hitler's youth group and actually put him into a southern gimmick. I've got a lot more respect for him than I ever have. I had no idea how he pulled that off.
Excellent.
Think about Jeff that's really good is Jeff has really good temperament for it. Like Jeff really doesn't he doesn't sell and he doesn't get overstressed but it's a hard. I think what people don't I should rephrase it and say I think what people forget about Jeff is he took a second mortgage out on his home and with his father started this company.
Mm-hmm.
So, people can say and do whatever they want to say about it, but the bottom line is there would be no TNA if there was no Jeff Jarrett. So is he the perfect boss? Is he the perfect booker? Is he the perfect worker? Once again, no, he's not. But does he ever go out there and not give 100%? No. Does he? He went out there and cut a promo the other night, which was a very lengthy promo that took a lot of preparation, and he had a lot of things going on that day as far as making sure that show went right, making sure he's in the truck. He wears a lot of hats. He did not let his performance suffer from that. Mm-hmm. And he's also raising 3 little girls on his own.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at it and I say, number one, we've been friends a long time, and he does a good job, and I commend. Is it perfect? No, but you know what? I had that same job, and somebody wrote a book saying I killed the business.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
from the guy in the book depository. That took the 3 shots, I say he's doing a pretty good job.
Right.
I don't think Jeff's at the grassy knoll, so it's a very difficult job. It's not easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
Are there some things I would change if I had more of a voice? But at the same time, Jeff will tell anybody that has a voice, you know what, if you have a better idea, sit down with me. Don't do it 2 minutes before the show. You guys get formats. We send you ideas. We send you emails. The time is when you get that thing on Friday and you read it over. Saturday, contact me. We'll talk it over and see if there's something we can do to make it better. But do not come to me Monday at 5:45 and say, I want to change this. Mm-hmm. And he's always been that way. So if you've got a problem with something that's going down, or you got a problem with somewhere you're being booked, the biggest problem we have in this business as wrestlers is everybody gets in a corner and talks behind each other's back, and nobody goes to anybody, sits down man to man, looks them in the eye and says, I don't like this, I want to change this, and this is my idea. It's a lot easier to sit there, do what they tell you to do, go back in the locker room and bitch how bad it was. Because that way you don't put yourself on the line. If you tell them, I have a better idea, and it's worse than what theirs was, then you take the blame, and nobody wants to take that blame.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easier to say, he doesn't know what he's doing, he's a bad booker, well, what would you come up with? I didn't come up with anything, I just did what I was told. Well, if you knew, you've been doing it for 15 years, and you knew it was wrong, and you had a better idea, why didn't you say something? Well, I didn't say anything because, all right, fuck you. Shut up. And that's the biggest problem we have. That's pro wrestling in a nutshell right there.
Would you like to have that job again sometime?
Absolutely not.
Right.
I'd rather cook up meth across from the DEA office.
Well, we do have one last caller here. Hopefully he'll make your day. We got President Clinton on the line.
Well, Kevin Nash, I'm so happy to be speaking to you right now. How are you?
I'm good, Mr. President. I'm sure you would be happy to be speaking to me. That way you got to speak to your old lady.
Oh, man, she is such a bitch. I can't stand her.
Oh.
Ask your question.
Absolutely.
What would you do with Palin if she gave you a cigar?
I'm
just asking. I'm just asking, President.
I wouldn't need the cigar with her. Other people, sometimes you need the cigar, but she, no, I could handle that. I don't want her anywhere near the government, but, you know, she can handle other things.
Watch out, she might shoot you and gut you like a caribou there, sir.
I know, she'll fly past in her helicopter and just gun me down.
I think she sold that on eBay. I was on her plane. I can't keep it straight.
Right. Speaking of eBay, real quick before we get to President Clinton's comment, are those the auctions on eBay real? The ones where you can buy like a dinner with you? All right.
Absolutely, you get to hang out. I mean, you get an uncensored. I'm completely out of control by the time I get there. You want stories? You want 4 or 5 hours of stories? Drop about 12 beers in me, a couple pieces of steak, and I'm smoke a couple of Cuban cigars. Tonight, a storytelling around the fire you will not forget.
Excellent. Money well spent.
We haven't had any complaint yet.
So what was your question, President? Sorry to cut you off.
Well, it was going to be the eBay thing, but also I wanted to know...
Sorry about that.
That's all right. It was going to be, what is the worst angle you thought you were a part of?
God, there's been so many. I thought that NWO thing was a rip-off from the Japanese companies. Oh, no, wait, that's Flair did a mind melt on me.
That thing's never get over.
Damn that thing. It was crazy how they brought it back with just me, Hogan, and Scott, and we left Austin Rock lying in Detroit, and there wasn't a person sitting on their ass. It worked again. It was crazy how it just, that fluky thing just kept working. God, who knows? It's just really, worst angle, see, gimmicks and angles are different. I've got to say that probably the best angle ever was probably that. A lot of people won't probably remember this because I don't think they get the True Mac Classics. But I think that short run Van Hammer Vinny Vegas classic series of matches. I have to say that's probably some of my finest work. And, also had
one of my favorites, Van Hammer.
A 10-minute barn burner with a RVD and a Dothan TV taping. So that was another classic. Me and Rob, it was funny when I came back to WWE the last time. For just like absolutely no reason whatsoever, because on TV, like RVD and I had absolutely like no correlation. Like we didn't speak to each other, we didn't like talk to each other at the coffee pot. I mean nothing. But like we were a tag team on the road, and like we would just like take turns. Like they would just job us like every night. We'd go out like 9 nights. And like I'd be like, damn, we were so close. And it just because he was in the doghouse and I was in the doghouse. It was like one of those deals, like I guess they were going to try to crack us or whatever, but I think RVD just wanted Gatorade when the match was over. So.
He's big on the Gatorade.
And I had some Gatorade.
Mm-hmm. When the NWO did come back, was there any like talks of doing an NWO versus DX feud?
Well, by the time he came back...
I know they weren't around, but I guess he could have brought them back.
Well, when we came back in, it was one of those deals like everybody, well, let me get this right. So these guys are going to come over. And because, see, the thing that they didn't expect Hogan and Rock to go toe-to-toe in Chicago and the whole place chant Hogan. Mm-hmm. You know, so I mean, they thought that they had this incredible machine and that they thought that we were a fluke. They thought the NWO thing was a fluke. And like, when they put us toe-to-toe against their guys, I mean, we were stars. And people perceived us as bigger, you know, as big, if not bigger stars. And they just basically went into Vince and they get this right. So these guys are going to go over, and these guys almost put this business out of, put us out of business. And we're going to put these guys over. How's that right? How's that not? And you know, they eventually the politics of pro wrestling. You know, we were supposed to go to Toronto Dome. We were supposed to screw Austin, come down, and screw Rock and Hogan's match and leave him in a bloody mess. That was supposed to be the. By the time we got to the building, Steve was stunning me and Scott, and Hogan was turning babyface.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in the course of about 12 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So, such is the wonderful life of pro wrestling.
Thanks for calling in, Mr. President. It's always
I appreciate
an honor having you call in. He's exclusive to In Your Head.
Talking to you, sir.
Let everybody know again, you're going to be in Kingwood, West Virginia, October 9th for the XWE, that's Extreme Wrestling Entertainment. And that's run by Damian Lee, who is a former adult film star, but now he's running a wrestling company. And apparently they got some TV deals going down.
Probably the least sleazy wrestling promoter going, I think.
Right. And you'll be calling in later on tonight to talk about those. Really appreciate you coming on tonight. Is there anything you want to tell everybody out there?
For the love of God, if you're not registered to vote, please register to vote. And if you are registered to vote and you decide that on the day of that you want to vote for McCain, stay home sick. About it.
Awesome. Can we keep you here for 1 second? Yeah.
Obama in 08.
Hey, what's up? This is X-Pac, and you're listening to In Your Head Radio. If you smell what the Pac is smoking.